How's it going, everybody? It's Pilot Flame, and we are back with another FPL video, and today we're going to be looking at our sequence of buy, holds, and sells for Game Week 10. If you're not familiar with how the series works, we basically pick players that we think that you should buy this game week because they're doing well or have a good run of fixtures, players that you should hang on to if they've just recently blanked or are coming back off the injured list for a week or two, and players that we think you should sell because they're either injured, out of form, not really worth keeping, or overall just bad keeps for the remainder of the season. If you haven't done so already, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. It greatly helps out the channel on our road to 1,300 with our overall goal of 2,000 subscribers by the end of the FPL season. So hit that subscribe button, it's free to do, as well as turn those notification bells on so that you can get more videos readily available as soon as they are readily available straight to your device that you choose to watch it on. As well as make sure to join us over on our Twitch stream tomorrow at the time of recording and releasing of this video. It's going to be Thursday of this week, so that being tomorrow, 7 p.m. EST. The comment down below that is pinned will tell you the exact time, just to confirm it. That's going to be our deadline-ish sort of stream. So make sure to check us out over there and come with your questions and potential transfers that you're looking to be making this week. And give us a follow over on Twitter as well. It's PilotFlame226, and links are in the description below. So without further ado, let's see how our picks did in Game Week 9. So here's a listing of our 2 buys, holds, and sells for Game Week 9. And overall, we did pretty damn good this week. We said Alex Tejas, who we brought in ourselves in my own team. He got 6 points, clean sheet for Manchester United, although it is West Brom, so probably was pretty safe there. Ollie Watkins only got us, 2 points if you did bring him in for our potential buy, so not great there, but I think long term could be quite good up until and including the Christmas period. He is on penalties as well. The holds and the sells, however, were spot on. Kane and Son hanging on to him versus City, both of them getting a return. I thought that they might do a Jose Mourinho style of, kind of game where basically they sit back and hit teams on the break. And what happened? 5 minutes or so in, ball in and over the top off a set piece after Ndombele basically shifts the ball onto his right, dinks it over the top, Son's in. Ederson comes out, ball between his legs, and then exactly the same thing with Kane driving into Man City's half in the second half, laying it into Lo Celso, who ends up scoring for himself after coming on as a sub. And I think they could be potential good holds this week as well, although they're not on our holds list this week. In terms of the sells, we were right. Podence, again, only 2 points. He did stay on longer than 60 minutes this time. So again, if you're planning on keeping him, that maybe gives you some hope, but it was a good sell for us last week. I'm only getting 2 points. And then Roman Saiz was actually a good sell as well. He didn't feature at all, and that was through illness, I believe. At least that's what he was flagged. I'm not sure if he tested positive or not. I have to check the news on that. But I think he's definitely pretty much lost his place for the most part anyway. So it was definitely a good sell. So overall, a very successful week for the buy, hold, and sell, picks that we had, and hopefully we can continue that for Game Week 10. So let's see who's on the buy list this week. Now, if you've watched our captaincy video, which came out a little bit earlier than this one, then you probably know that Jamie Vardy is one of the captaincy options for this week, and he's definitely on the buy list for a lot of FPL managers this week as well. Pretty easy shift to go from Kane down to Vardy, gives you a little bit extra cash, and I think Vardy, with his next fixture in particular versus Fulham at home, I can expect him to score against them. He's already got 8 goals this season. He's 25% owned, so some people even brought him in last week thinking he might do, able to, get in behind or get some type of goal on the break versus Liverpool's supposedly weak defense, but Fabinho held him off quite well. He was, often positioning himself in such a way to whereas if the ball did go in and over the top, he was there to basically have the extra couple of steps ahead of Vardy. Because as we know, Vardy is definitely no short of pace in that department, and can go past pretty much anyone in the Premier League if given a free run at the ball. And if he gets in behind you, he's very good at also winning penalties as well and getting his body in such a shape and position to where you literally can't get the ball off him unless you foul him. So he's going to win penalties and score goals on the break that easily. And his next 4 fixtures are quite good. And as we mentioned before, 10.2 million. If you have Kane or that type of premium style forward. Werner's just, 500,000 or so up to Vardy. Kane is a 500,000 down from Vardy, so depending on when you got him. And that allows for a little bit of money to be spent elsewhere. And if you're going to bring him in for these next 4 fixtures, I think he's pretty much rotation proof, although he does have this little hip problem that occurs from time to time where he has to take a game off. But I think overall, Vardy, going to be a good buy for the next 4 game weeks, and specifically for a captaincy option or just a general, transfer option this game week. Now, someone who has been causing a bit of a hurricane in the Liverpool lineup is Diogo Jota, the former Wolverhampton Wanderers forward. He currently sits at 6.7 million. He actually went up, and I had to change the graphic to put it back in before I recorded the video. He went up as I was about to record it, and he's now at 6.7 million. He was at 6.6 from his original starting point. He's gone up 0.2 from 6.5 million. He's got 4 goals this season, no assists, although he does tend to create, a couple of chances for his teammates as well. He's already 17% owned, so people are definitely inflating his price as we speak. 5.3% average points per game, and he has Brighton away, which is a pretty good fixture on paper. 9 points last week as well. I believe he's gotten a return in 3 out of the last 4 game weeks as well. And Liverpool, against the teams that are gonna leave space in behind and with their weakened defense, I think Klopp's going to be transforming back more of the heavy metal football style of play that he has been doing in his first couple of seasons at Liverpool. Now, what does this mean? This basically means where he takes his attackers and he says, well, guys, our defense isn't as good. This is like pre-Van Dijk era. We're just going to attack them with all we have, and hopefully we score more than them. And we're definitely good to do it on the break when creating chances, regardless of the situation. Now, Jota is also capable of playing in a midfield 3. He's capable of playing in the number 10 role. He can do a bunch of different things. And if you have the likes of Jota when Henderson's back and Wijnaldum, that's a pretty good midfield 3 if Jota's playing in the number 10 role. Even if he's playing off the right and Firmino drops into the number 10 role, he works extremely hard in winning the ball back for his team. And I think that it's just one of these things where Jota seemingly, he's going to get dropped from time to time, but from a 6.7 million pound midfielder, average of 5.3 points is pretty good. That means you're averaging basically an assist per game. So, probably a goal every other game. And in a Liverpool team that just seems to be free-flowing at the moment. They lost to Atalanta tonight, but with a little bit of a mixed lineup. And they're trying to preserve what defensive options they have going into the Premier League, kind of bundled up fixtures in the Christmas period. And Jota could be definitely used in pretty much every game in those fixtures, whether he comes on for 30 minutes, whether he plays for 60 to 70 minutes. He's definitely going to see a lot of minutes, and I don't think it is that much of an issue that he may see a benching or 2. But I think he's going to play the majority of those games because he's on fire, he's the man in form, and I don't think he's droppable at the moment if I'm Jurgen Klopp. So Diogo Jota, goodbye for me this game week. Now, one of the players that's going to be on our hold list for a very simple reason is Callum Wilson. He currently has 6 goals this season. He's only 11% owned, but he has a good run of fixtures all the way up until Christmas, and he's 6.5 million and is definitely being underrated. Now, he was out last week with a bit of a hamstring problem. Whether that's cleared up, he's still flagged currently in FPL as a 75% chance to play. Steve Bruce's comments was basically that they didn't want to risk him. I personally think he probably could have played, but they knew that they had a tough opponent in Chelsea and probably didn't want to risk him getting or having to, exert himself on the game and try to go and win it when they knew that they were already up against it, going up against Chelsea, who look pretty good this season overall, and their defense has been looking quite good. Where the more winnable fixture is going to be against Crystal Palace, which they play on Friday, the early fixture of the game week. I think Callum Wilson could definitely be in amongst the goals in that game. He is also on penalties as well. I'm certainly looking at him from around game week 12 onwards, and probably having him up and until and including the Boxing Day fixture versus Manchester City, which is the last fixture that you can have someone before you use your wild card. If you still have it, that's going to be game week 16. So I think that he is somebody that could be, very, underrated because he plays for Newcastle, who don't really create chances. But again, with Wilson in the team, I think St. Maximin gets a bit of a boost. Hasn't really looked, all that when he's been out of the team or off the pitch. So I think that Wilson is definitely going to provide a boost. So if you do have him and you were unlucky enough to have him basically drop to your bench because he scored 0 points and didn't play, hang on to him this week. I think he can come good, especially versus a Crystal Palace team which doesn't look as good defensively as what they have been in recent seasons. Now this may seem pretty obvious, but Bruno Fernandez is probably a hold this week for me. He's pretty good, I think. And as a Man United fan, I definitely appreciate what he's doing for the club. He's definitely a lift to the team, and he showed that when he came off in the Champions League fixture midweek versus Istanbul. And basically, when he wasn't on the pitch, the team played a lot worse. His mentality on the pitch is just always attack, always try to create, and he's going to be involved in pretty much everything that Man United do. And I don't know where Ole Gunnar Solskjaer would be without him. That signing was pretty crucial. And he's just a fantastic midfielder. Scored 11 points in a home fixture, which is not something that he usually does. And it's the away fixtures where he definitely does his damage. He's currently 36.5% owned, 6 goals, 3 assists this season in the 8 games that he has played. So more, just over a goal or an assist per game. And he has an away fixture this week versus Southampton, which is a team that notably got smashed to bits by Spurs on the counter, something Fernandez is very adept at getting involved in. However, they are very good at pressing, which is kind of where I think that it could be a bit of a struggle for United, who historically haven't been great versus Southampton, but haven't been, terrible either. It's always been a bit of a mixed bag. Now, whether United can use the likes of, Martial out on the left, Rashford out on the right, and hold that width and allow Fernandez to do what he did along with Donny van der Beek in midweek, I think that he could definitely, transform his game and ascend it even further and just basically smash Southampton out of the park, because they only play with 2 central midfielders really in Ward-Prowse and Romeu. So I think that he is definitely the key player for United this week. If you have him, don't sell him for the likes of Mohamed Salah. The 2 fixtures for Salah aren't as good, I think, personally, for the likes of Fernandez, who is so good away from home. Salah does play Wolves in one of those fixtures. So if you're selling Fernandez for Salah, I think hang on to Fernandez, especially if it's for a hit. Definitely hang on to Fernandez and look to see how Salah does this week, or Mane, whichever Liverpool player that you're planning on bringing in, just because Salah's back. Fernandez, I would say definitely hold him for this away fixture. See how United play, and if he gets another double-digit hole, again, it's just an away fixture. That's what he does. So hold on to Fernandez for this game week. Now, one of the players we have on our sell list this week is Ross Barkley. He was just starting to come good as well and doing quite well in his new home on loan at Aston Villa. He was at $6 million. It looked like a very good price, and I was considering bringing him in last week as well. Unfortunately, came off with a minor hamstring problem. He's going to be out for 2 to 3 weeks, so I wouldn't suggest keeping him because he's going to go down in price probably twice. I would say potentially 3 times maybe, depending on if that injury is serious as we think it could potentially be. Hamstring problems are not something that you typically, shake off in 2 to 3 weeks. It could be 2 to 3 weeks before he's back in training, before, after that, then he comes back in the team and is slowly adapted back in. He is an injury-prone player in recent years, is Ross Barkley, and I think that Aston Villa could potentially suffer from it. I mean, they lost to Brighton and didn't look the same as they did versus Arsenal without him on the pitch. So it could be a bit of a worry if you own the likes of Jack Grealish or any of the defenders for Aston Villa, because he provides a bit of a driving force in the midfield. So Ross Barkley, I would say shift him on if you have a little bit extra cash to the likes of Diego Jota, or up to Grealish if you went for more of a differential pick. Phil Foden, who started in midweek as well, could potentially be a decent pick, but I think a lot of people are jumping on the Jota bandwagon, so pretty easy shift for me if I had him. I don't, unfortunately, but Jota looks like the potential sideways-ish move in terms of the price point. Ross Barkley, sell for me this week. And the other player we have on our sell list is Tyreek Mitchell. He currently sits at 4.1 million, and he has a nice fixture versus Newcastle, but I think his time has come for being a kind of consistent starter in the Crystal Palace team. They have Nathaniel Klein, who both him and Mitchell were available. Roy Hodgson decided to go with Klein, and Patrick Van Arnholt has resumed his position at left back. Now, whether they're on kind of half and half time where Mitchell plays one game, Klein plays another game. I don't think you can safely rely on Mitchell being a cheap bench option, and with people testing positive and the international break, showing that injuries are going to become more and more consistent, and with the clustered, fixture period coming up at Christmas time, you're definitely going to need, at least a bench player or two to come in for your players when they drop out due to injury or not playing, potentially testing positive. So Mitchell, you cannot rely on him anymore to be a 100% assured starter for a cheap defensive option. So I think if you have no fires to put out or on a wild card, I would definitely sell him for this game week. And that's going to do it for the Game Week 10 edition of Buy, Hold, and Sell. Make sure to leave a like on the video if you're enjoying it. Make sure to subscribe to the channel if you are new around here. We are on the road to 1,300 subscribers, so make sure to hit that subscribe button. It's free to do, hopefully getting 2,000 by the end of the FPL season. And turn those notification bells on so that you can get great content like this video as well as many others in the near future as soon as they are readily available. And leave a comment down below as to a player that you should avoid for this game week. I had a comment where somebody said that you should add the avoid, kind of section, so buy, hold, sell, and avoid for this game week, but I'll leave it up to you guys in the comments. You tell me which player I think that I should avoid this game week to potentially bring in. I'm personally looking at potentially Aguero over Vardy this week, and that could be a player that I should avoid because he is coming back off injury. But let me know players that you're not looking at all this week, or potentially I should stay away from and would not be a good bring in, even though on paper they might be. Also, make sure to follow us over on Twitter and Twitch. It's PilotFlame226 on those platforms. The links are in the description, and check out the pinned comment down below. It'll show the time of 7 p.m. EST and a link to our Twitch channel where we will be doing a deadline stream tomorrow at the time of recording. So that's going to be the 26th of November, this Thursday, where we'll be discussing a bunch of different topics like should we bring Salah back in and all sorts of stuff like that, looking at my potential transfers. And if you have any transfers that you're looking at yourself, make sure to stop by and kind of message me in the comments, in the chat rather, and let us know what you're thinking for your team that game week. And we have a lot of people in the community, in our Flames recruits that are going to be in there that'll help you out and let them know what they're doing for this game week as well. Thanks for watching, and until the next one, take care.